against the coronavirus, also announcing that he's going to be using his executive authorities to free up some $50 billion to fight this pandemic, this epidemic here in the United States. In the meantime, Wolf, there was one big stunning moment in the Rose Garden.
I'm not afraid to cough in public, just because I will not go to the store if I feel like I have to cough. But if I do have, like, you know, just some sort of throat itch and it does happen, I will hide it. I think that is common knowledge to most people to hide it, but obviously being an Asian man, I don't want anyone seeing me, looking at me if I have to cough. So obviously I will hide it as much as possible. But I am not worried if something happens, if someone catches me coughing. I think I'll find a way to explain, because I wouldn't go, if I was actually, you know, if I actually had a sore throat, I wouldn't go out, and I wouldn't go out anywhere, so.
Yes, I'm actually afraid to cough in public, only because how the social media is portraying like the virus to be like an Asian virus. So I fear of coughing and people will stare at me and think that I have COVID.
Funny, yeah, I am actually, I'm not afraid, but it's just kind of to be kind of polite, you know, try not to cough, just because, you know, the stereotypes of Asian man coughing, you know, people will give you stares. But if I gotta cough, I gotta cough, you know. I'm not, like, I'll try to hold it in, but, you know, if I gotta do it, I gotta do it.
Yeah, my name is Justin Soon, and I am studying mass communications, creative digital media with a minor of film studies. This is my third year at Winona.
My name is Kennedy Hur. I am a junior here at Winona State University, and my major is art education, and my minor is coaching.
My name is Ki Yang. I am a fourth year student here at WSU, and I am a social worker with a minor in women's gender study and sexuality.
The first question is, did you ever think that you would experience or be part of a pandemic? Why?
I don't think anybody would have seen it coming, but we heard about like COVID before it hit America, and I'm running a club called Asian Student Nation, and before March we actually had a conversation about COVID, and so yeah, we did see it coming, and yeah, it was very sad that it took over that spring semester, but we had a lot of plans for that semester, and when COVID hit, I was very scared, and I didn't know how long it was going to last.
I would have never thought that I would be a part of a pandemic, just because today's technology, you would have thought that it would never get to this kind of degree, you know.
I never thought I would be a part of a pandemic, only because like I feel like we live in a time where like technology is just so advanced and people are not dying at an early age. So I feel like I would never expect a pandemic to happen.
What were your initial thoughts of COVID-19?
Yeah, so initially when I heard about it, obviously I've never experienced anything like that, so I wasn't really too afraid. Like we've heard about other diseases before, like Ebola and stuff, and obviously it's scary, but still have never experienced it. So initial reactions, I was just like, that is like foreign country stuff, like, and I never thought it would hit the whole world like it did, and when it did, it was very scary. I remember going to Costco with my mom, like when I came home for spring break, and there was just so many people. Everyone, like, they looked scared. Like I felt like I was in the beginning of an apocalypse or something, and I was like, what is going on? But yeah, like all the toilet papers were going like out of stock and all that. So I really remember how crazy it was just to go out, and otherwise, yeah, just very uncertain about what was going to happen.
Initial thoughts, I thought COVID was real to start off. I thought COVID was very serious and should have been taken more serious of in the beginning. And it's something that has definitely really impacted me in my life.
My initial thoughts were that I didn't think it was real, only because it was happening in China only. So I just assumed that, oh, it was never gonna reach the US.
Can you share how your lifestyle changes due to COVID-19?
My lifestyle changed a lot because being a college student, you want to, just live up your youth and, just make a lot of friends and spend time with people, have interactions with new people. And yeah, with COVID-19 and the pandemic, I had to go back to how I was before. And I used to spend a lot of time with my family. And so this summer and when I was doing school at home in the spring, I got to spend a lot of time with my family. And it was nice staying home. Obviously, I missed my friends, but there were positives to it. Probably won't live with my family again after college. So, I got some extra time spending with my family, and that was nice.
Yeah, I would say I am a very outdoorsy person. I love to go canoeing, play volleyball, and I love to be outside with a lot of my friends and family. And I feel like when COVID happened, it just took away a lot of my time of being outdoor, and I wasn't able to even spend time with my friends and family also.
Yeah, COVID has definitely impacted me in so many different ways, school, jobs, being laid off, just being the social guy I am. It limits me to where I can't really hang out with friends, or limits me to how many friends I can hang out with and where I can go eat, where I can't go to eat, COVID has really impacted me in all sorts of ways,
In spring 2020, the university transitioned from in-person learning on campus to being completely online. Can you please tell how this transition was for you? What did you enjoy and what were the challenges?
There were a lot of challenges coming into the fall semester. I was very excited to come back to school after not seeing my friends for 5 months at this point, and usually we only have to wait 3 months because of summer or less. And so I was very excited to come back, obviously spend time with my friends, but immediately I can tell things were different. I can only spend time with some of my friends, which are my roommates and the ones who were close, and we had to keep a bubble. And I was excited to see my other friends, but I just, we couldn't, and we struggled to decide if who we're gonna be able to interact with. And I have 2 groups of people that I spend time with. So my friends that I met from my Asian club, I wanted to hang out with them, and also they're my roommates, but I also want to spend time with my girlfriend, and she has 4 roommates, and so it was very hard for me to hang out with people because I didn't want to spread or cause any COVID.
Personal challenges is work. I was a technician at the time, and we offered home services. So it was a huge change. There was limitations of what I can't do. The customer's response was very different now too with COVID. So work was one of the challenges that I had to deal with, other than the other many things that are happening at home too.
I actually enjoy how convenient it was to go to class while being at home, but I would say the drawback would be just not being engaged with any of the learning experience I was getting in online Zoom class. The transition was actually pretty hard, only because I spent about 2-3 years in college where I was in class in person and seeing the professor and everything. And when we transitioned to online learning, it was very hard to be more engaged with the class lecture and also class activities.
When the lockdown happened, my parents, we prepared for it. We went to Costco, we bought so much ramen, and I was like, dang, I'm gonna eat so much frozen food throughout this time. I was actually very worried what we would be able to eat if it was to go on for a year, the lockdown. I had no clue how long the lockdown was supposed to last, and it was very scary. And I remember arguing with my parents because I wanted to see my girlfriend just to drop off some things, and they were very scared too, and nobody really knew what was okay, and there was a lot of struggles at that time. And throughout the lockdown, I got more comfortable being in the lockdown. I found stuff to do because I had my my cousins who literally lived next door to me, which is a unique situation. So we still were in contact with them since they lived directly next door to them. So I had them to hang out with, and I had my sister to hang out with. So I did find stuff to do, and obviously I had class at the time. And by the time it was summer, like actually summer, when we were done with classes, things started to get a little bit more free. So we actually went on a few. My family and I actually went on a few drives around, and we actually went on a mini road trip. And we drove actually down to Texas to see my other family. And it was very weird because I didn't know if that was like okay or not, but you know, we still did it. And yeah, we just went down there just visit, and we drove back, and we were okay.
I thought the lockdown was very helpful in making sure the spread of COVID, decreases. Did I like it? I wasn't a fan of it, but I support the idea. I thought it was going to keep me safe, and I think it did for the most part. One thing about the lockdown was just preparing for it, and that's something that I didn't do so well at. I wish I would have prepared myself a little better for the lockdown, like stocking up on supplies that would be definitely useful.
My initial impression of it was that I didn't think it was real. I thought it was the government trying to scam us or scare us to stay home more often. But as time progresses, I realized that, wow, this was actually a really big deal. And now I'm home most of the time.
You heard about the remarks directed towards the Asian American community with regard to COVID-19?
Yeah, it was a big thing when COVID-19 was, when it first was revealed that it came from China, and that really just put every Asian person in America, like it threw all the Asians in America under the bus, and all of a sudden we were like targeted, and it was scary because like we were in the same boat. We were scared of COVID, and why are we getting fingers pointed at us? So I don't like it really showed like the true colors of some people in this country, and it's scary that, we all thought we were on the same page, but all of a sudden when there's a reason to hate on a community, like people will just go at them, even without like legitimate facts or context.
Yes, I have. I hear about these stories on a daily basis through social media, and it's very disgusting and sad to see that, that's the reality of it.
My initial reaction was that I was very scared, not just for me, but also for my friends and family. And also like, it makes me scared to go out to just run errands because you just never know what could happen like to yourself.
As someone who identified as Asian American, after hearing about the racial remarks towards Asians, what were your reaction when you heard about Asians being targeted?
I was honestly not surprised because there was already things happening outside the Asian community with the Black community, and when that was happening to the Asians, I'm not surprised the state of our country, and I'm lucky that hasn't happened to anyone that I know, but it's very scary to know that like anything can happen anytime. And definitely I have become more afraid of strangers, and like honestly the police when I am around any new people or cops.
Well, my family is more alert, more cautious of where they're going now, their surroundings, who's around them, especially my mother. I have experienced something here in Winona, being called names when I was walking downtown Winona. A gentleman in a black Pontiac told me to go back, to bring the disease back to China. And how do I feel about that? It is what it is, It's sad to see that someone would say that. I haven't spoken up about it, but that's because I was so in shock that it was happening to me right right there on the spot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say my grandparents especially, they were affected because they like to take morning strolls and morning walk around the neighborhood. And I've been hearing on the news a lot how elderly Asians are being attacked while they're taking strolls. So now like my grandparents, they're not allowed to go out by themselves. They must have an adult with them when they do go out.
The anti-racism things have not, from my knowledge, affected my family, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's been something said to anyone I know. I just haven't been told about those things, but I know there's been things that happened to my friends here in Winona, and actually someone wrote anti-Asian on the driveway of our house. For me, I am always concerned, but I think my family are fortunate enough to live in a safe neighborhood, especially because we live very close to our other family. But in other towns and more, closer to the city, I would be worried for the families out there that have to walk to go to groceries or something, because I just feel like the streets of Minneapolis and St. Paul can be dangerous.
I am afraid more about the elders, those who can't protect themselves. I am terrified about, my mother, if this was to ever happen to her, It's more that I care for those who can't protect themselves. Me personally, I think I can handle it, handle the situation if it was to happen to me. I feel like I can educate those who do make racist Asian remarks to me on the spot. Whereas the Asian elders, where they're limited to their vocabulary and they just kind of take the hate in. So I'm more worried about that kind of age group of people.
Yes, I am actually in fear of my parents' safety, only because they are refugee and they're not proficient in English. So if there was a hate crime that was happening to them, I fear that no one would be there to help translate their experiences of what was happening to them during that time.
What self-care things are you doing for you? What coping tools are you using?
Definitely, I've been trying to make the most out of my time throughout this pandemic, especially because the pandemic took away part of my college experience, and it's still taking away a lot of things that I want to do during college. And I'm only in college for a certain amount of years, so I've been trying to make the most with what I can do. And so I've been spending a lot of time with the people closest to me. I've been trying to be productive and just participate in a lot of things, and just make sure that I'm happy. And I've been doing a lot of video production, which is like my main hobby, and I feel really good about it.
Well, mask for sure. I wear a mask everywhere I go out, just not right now because of the interview. I do wear my mask quite often, if not every single time when I do leave the house. What other things have I done to cope with COVID? I've distanced myself. I stay on track with the media, the news, and I just slowly educate myself with what's going on around me.
I recently started working out more often now during the COVID, just because I have nothing to do, and that was also my way of coping with a lot of my mental health issues. Yeah, I recently started glass painting, where I trace the picture onto the glass and I paint over it. So that's been a new hobby that I recently started doing during the COVID-19.